Love. We've been told it is something you have to chase. But what if the key to attracting the right kind of love isn't about hustle, overthinking, or forcing it? What if it's about letting love in? Today, we're going to talk all about the art of attracting love with ease by stepping into your feminine energy and letting go of the chase. That's right, I said it, letting go of the chase. Stay tuned, we're going to dig in. Welcome to the Secret Formula of Femininity for women who want to live a more feminine, fun, and fabulous life. I'm Dr. Nicole Montero, your host on this weekly journey to unlocking your inner radiance, nurturing fulfilling relationships, and becoming the best version of yourself. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dr. Nicole, your host and guide on this journey to tapping into your feminine energy. As you can tell, I'm not in my typical studio. I'm actually here in Atlanta at the Podcast Summit. And I want to share a moment with you because this has been such an amazing experience so far, which is why I wanted to record from the summit. And I'm surrounded by so many incredible creators, people who are hustling hard, chasing their dreams, creating amazing content. And bigger than that, they are making an impact. And it made me start thinking as I talked to so many women, what if we approached our love lives the same way that we approach our professional and business lives? You know, putting in the work, setting the goals, tracking the progress. I have a friend who's been single for a while, and she knows I'm going to talk about this. She's beautiful, smart, she's successful. Everything on paper is checking out. But she feels like she's constantly in search mode, especially as she feels like the clock is running out. She always has this checklist of what a potential partner needs to have, but despite all the searching, love just seems elusive. She just can't find the person that she wants. And I've been here at the summit. I've had conversations that actually made me think about her. How many of us are doing the same thing when it comes to relationships. And I had this deep conversation with one of the podcasters who said that her best work and results come after she has stopped chasing her next project. She just allows things to unfold naturally. Sometimes it's because she's like, oh my God, I'm not reaching my goal. Or sometimes she knows that she needs the rest. And so she just lets things, she pauses and lets things unfold naturally. And when she lets go of that pressure, that's when the opportunities come. And think about it for yourself. I know this has happened to me. Like when I reach a point of a certain level of frustration, and I'm like, you know what? Let me just fall back. Let me chill. Let me just, relax. Then all of the things start happening, right? Has that ever happened to you? Well, this conversation that I had with the fellow podcaster, it really clicked with me because just like in our professional lives, we can't chase the thing all the time. We surely can't do it with love. We can't force it to happen. We can't make it happen on our timing. Actually, one of the presenters today talked about a really powerful story where if you think about when you plant seeds, you can't predict, you might do all of the right things. You might put the water, give it enough sunlight, make sure it has fertilizer, all the right things. But some seeds are going to sprout quicker than others, taller than others. It just means that that is the time for those seeds. The time for the ones that aren't sprouting so much is definitely going to come. So it's the same with love. We have to think about how do we invite love instead of chasing it. We need to talk about leaning into our feminine energy and stepping away from the masculine overdrive that we talk about, where you're hustling and you're grinding and you're making it happen. When you fall back and you stop chasing, you allow love to find you. And it's a big shift for a lot of people. The high achieving woman feels like she has to chase everything, whether it's the promotion, the business opportunity, the next big thing. Even social validation feels like a goal that you have to achieve. But let me tell you, love is a receiver, not a chaser. And when we are in that chasing mode, we are out of alignment with our true feminine power. So let's break it down. Feminine energy is about receptivity, and that's where love blossoms when it's able to receive. It's about being open not only to love, but receiving what life offers. Hence, when you fall back, when you pull back, you start getting all of the opportunities. When you stop fretting over your garden, the flowers just come to bloom, right? It's almost like a chemical signal to our bodies, to our nervous systems, that we are in a place of safety. And that comes across in how we present ourselves, how we talk, how we interact with people. And it's the opposite of operating from a place of fear or lack. As we say, femininity is about abundance, not lack, fear, and insecurity. And when you're in a state of lack, you're telling your body, I don't have it, but I really, really need it. And that sets us up for burnout, frustration, and wanting everything on our timing. But when we shift into our feminine energy, we get to open ourselves to the flow of love and all the good things that are meant for us, thriving relationships, a sense of joy, well being. We move from I need love to I am love, and love will find me in the perfect time and place. And this requires patience. It requires also a level of faith. We cannot predict and rush and make it happen on our timing. So we have to be patient, we have to have faith, and we have to allow ourselves to be in a state of balance and well being. So this relates to something that I want to talk about, which is pick me energy. I know we've heard this term thrown around so much. And sometimes I like to play with it because I'm like, I'm my husband's pick me. But in reality, pick me energy is something we really want to talk about, right? This is when we are doing everything extra to prove that we're worthy of love. We're saying basically, like, look at me, choose me. But when we do that, there's a big catch to it. Pick me energy often attracts the wrong kind of attention because it's rooted in the belief that we have to prove our value. And who are the people that tend to be attracted to that or look for that? Narcissists are looking to exploit that. Emotionally immature or unstable men are looking to exploit that. People who haven't dealt with their own traumas and their own wounds. So you're going to be attracting people who either need a whole bunch of validation themselves because they aren't secure, or people who are looking to exploit that need that you have as a vulnerability and take advantage of it. So the pick me energy is prove energy, and it's not helpful to finding the real healthy love that you know you want and deserve. The truth is, you are already worthy of love. You don't have to convince anyone of your worth. Sometimes it's a matter of timing, sometimes it's a matter of being in the right environments, but it's not a matter of having to prove your worth. Your essence, your being, your presence is enough. When we step into the flow of feminine energy, we naturally attract the love we deserve because there's no longer a need to chase it. We're not in lack. And those who are healthy are drawn to it. It becomes very magnetic. And in doing that, we're creating a space for someone who genuinely aligns with who we are. A lasting, healthy relationship is built on three things: mutual respect, connection, and vulnerability. It's not about competition or performance. It's about you seeing that person and that other person seeing you, but you knowing in your core that you already have value. Love finds you when you stop trying to force it to happen. Your garden blossoms and blooms when you stop picking at it, putting extra things. You've already followed the rules of gardening. You know what season it is, you know what to plant, you know what to do. Follow that and then let it be. And just like we've been talking about in terms of our work and careers here at the summit, love operates in a flow, not a force. In the past, I remember thinking that life had to be forced. I really remember feeling that sense of lack and insecurity. And if I'm being honest, I used to really think that I had to be the one putting everything in motion, whether it's opportunities, whether it's friendships, whether it's business plans, whether it's professional plans, whether it's love, right? That I had to be the one putting things in motion. But what happens is that comes across, especially in relationships, as a very controlling energy that's not open and allowing the right person in. I've even talked to friends who have said things like, if I go on enough dates, if I just get on enough apps, If I say yes to every invitation, every date, then I'm going to find my person. And I get it. I understand because in some ways, putting yourself out there is about a numbers game. But at some point, you have to try to understand if you're doing it out of a sense of fear and insecurity and anxiety, or if you're being strategic with how you put yourself out there. Because if not, it will be totally exhausting and totally out of alignment with your feminine energy, which is like your compass that knows where you need to go, which direction, when to pause, when to stop. It is your guide. So you always want to be connected to that. So, what does this look like in a practical sense? One is being present. We say unhappiness comes from regret about the past or anxiety about the future. So, learn to be in the present and learn to be authentic. Be you. There's only one you. You don't have to twist and turn and put yourself into a pretzel that, this is the perfect guy, but if he needs me to do this one thing and that's going to make him want me, right? You have to be authentic and be comfortable with who you are. And also being at peace with where you are, not just who you are, knowing that your time will come. It's not always about trying to rush the process. If you're constantly rushing, grinding, striving, you're actually blocking the flow of love. You might just be so busy in tunnel vision that you will miss the person who is truly aligned with you. So, learning to let go of control and trust the process is key. And ladies, I have to be honest. A lot of us, because of our own past traumas and relationship traumas and family traumas, we get attracted to those bad boy types or the types, the narcissistic types or the unhealthy types. Because at the end of the day, relationships are a mirror. So the more we work on ourselves and healing and feeling worthy and not chasing, the more we're going to attract those healthier the more we're going to attract those healthier potential partners. Okay, so this is my favorite part, the Q&A. I got a DM in my Instagram and someone said, "How do I stop myself from chasing love when I feel lonely?" Yes, you hit the nail on the head, sis. You wrote this to me and you got to the heart of it. There is a lot of loneliness. There's a loneliness epidemic. The Surgeon General said we're lonely, we're so isolated in our individualistic society. And I get it. But if you start to operate out of a place of fear, that's where you're going to start making mistakes. That's where you're going to start making decisions that are not healthy for you in terms of love and relationships. So it's okay and it's actually important for you to honor your loneliness without identifying with it. You got to get this straight. Loneliness is a feeling, it's not a permanent state, it's not an identity or a badge that you wear. When you feel lonely, it's an opportunity to practice self love, self soothing, journal, do something nice for yourself. Remind yourself of why you're such an amazing woman. Fill your cup first, and the right partner will come when you're least expecting it. Question number two is, what if I'm scared that letting go of control will lead to disappointment? Again, you guys are hitting the nail on the head with these questions because you're getting to the heart of a lot of fears that women have. Letting go of control doesn't mean you stop doing the work of setting boundaries. It means you stop grasping at things that weren't meant for you. You stop trying to make water stay in your hands when it's going to seep through the cracks between your fingers. And disappointment, it's not failure, it's just a chance to redirect. As they say, sometimes a rejection is actually a saving grace. So you need to trust that God has a plan for you and that you're doing the work. So there's a point where you can't try to control all of it. You have to trust that God has a plan for you and you have to be willing, you have to have faith to trust the process. Here's the bottom line, you don't have to chase love. In fact, when you do, you're often pushing it further away. It's that paradox. The more you grasp at something, the more it just runs away from you. Instead, when you shift into the flow of your feminine energy, you become the person who's already worthy of love. And then you will see that it starts to become effortless. You start to attract people who align more and more with you. But that requires, again, a level of patience and faith that, quite honestly, a lot of us don't have. So before we're running and looking for and chasing love, we need to work on our own inner faith, our own inner patience, and our own inner work. I want to leave you with this, ladies. Love finds you when you allow it. It's a state of allowing that's really important. And in fact, I have talked about how I am in my season of allowing. It's knowing that you put in the work, knowing that you've done the inner work, and allowing those things to come to you. When you release the pressure to just find it all and do it all right, and you just try to show up as the full radiant version of yourself that you are going to get exactly what you deserve and what you've been hoping and dreaming of. Ask any woman who's in her dream relationship, whether she met her husband when she was really, really young or it was later in life. There was a part of it that was really about flow. And that's why, in a lot of cultures that have arranged marriages, the family takes over because they don't want all of the anxious feelings of the two people getting married to override the process. By the family being involved, they end up bringing some flow into the process and it makes the whole thing a little bit more relaxed. All right, ladies, if today's episode resonated with you, I want to make sure you hit that subscribe button, you hit that like button, and you most certainly share it. And when you leave a review on the podcast platforms, that is an extra bonus on top. So please do that. And don't forget to grab my book, The Boundaries to Bliss Blueprint for Women Who Are Finally Ready to Win at Love. This will help you to deepen your journey of feminine energy, boundaries, and self love. And you'll learn my 7-step process for inviting healthy love into your life. Also, join my inner circle, the Boundaries to Bliss Society, for more intimate, powerful conversations and coaching around topics like this. Thanks for joining me for today's episode here live in Atlanta at the Podcast Summit. And remember, you are loved, and love will find you when the time is right. I'll see you next time. I'm Dr. Nicole.